It was the summer of 2008 when a disturbing story out of Orlando, Florida began to unfold, one that would capture national attention, stir public outrage, and spark endless debate. This is the story of the Caylee Anthony trial, a case that left America shocked, confused, and divided. Caylee Anthony was a 22-year-old single mother living with her parents and her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee Marie Anthony. On July 15, 2008, Caylee's mother, Cindy Anthony, made a frantic 911 call. She hadn't seen her granddaughter in 31 days. Even more alarming, Cindy told the dispatcher that her daughter's car smelled like a dead body had been inside it. The next day, Caylee Anthony was arrested for child neglect, making false official statements, and obstructing an investigation. During questioning, Caylee gave several conflicting stories, claiming at one point that a babysitter named Zanny Fernandez Gonzalez had kidnapped Caylee. Investigators would later determine that this person didn't exist. As the investigation continued, evidence started to mount. A neighbor reported that Caylee had borrowed a shovel shortly after Caylee went missing. Traces of chloroform and signs of human decomposition were found in Caylee's car trunk. Internet searches on Caylee's home computer included terms like, how to make chloroform, neck breaking, and foolproof suffocation. Then, on December 11, 2008, a meter reader discovered the skeletal remains of a child in a wooded area less than a quarter-mile from the Anthony family home. The remains were confirmed to be those of Caylee Anthony. Duct tape was found near the skull, adding to suspicions that the child's death was not an accident. In 2011, nearly 3 years after Caylee's death, the murder trial of Caylee Anthony began. Prosecutors sought the death penalty, arguing that Caylee murdered her daughter to escape parental responsibilities and live a carefree, party-filled life. They pointed to her behavior in the 31 days Caylee was missing, attending nightclubs, getting a tattoo that read, Bella Vita, or Beautiful Life, and lying repeatedly to police. But the defense team, led by attorney Jose Baez, told a different story. They claimed that Caylee had drowned accidentally in the family's swimming pool and that Caylee's father, George Anthony, helped cover it up out of panic. The defense also alleged that George had sexually abused Caylee as a child, explaining her erratic behavior and emotional detachment. George denied all allegations, and no evidence of abuse was ever presented in court. The prosecution's case relied heavily on circumstantial evidence. There was no direct link placing Caylee at the scene of the alleged crime, no definitive cause of death, and no witnesses to a murder. Though suspicious, much of the physical evidence was inconclusive or open to interpretation. After a 6-week trial and more than 400 pieces of evidence presented, the jury deliberated for just 11 hours. On July 5, 2011, Caylee Anthony was found not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter. She was, however, convicted on 4 counts of providing false information to law enforcement. The verdict ignited a media firestorm. Public reaction was overwhelmingly negative, with many calling it a miscarriage of justice. TV anchors, legal analysts, and everyday citizens expressed disbelief. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse, and social media erupted with outrage. For many, it wasn't just about the evidence, it was about emotion, about a young life lost and a mother's apparent indifference. In the years since the trial, Caylee Anthony has maintained a low profile, occasionally surfacing in the news. She's reportedly started a photography business and has expressed interest in criminal defense work. The Caylee Anthony case remains one of the most talked about trials of the 21st century. It raised serious questions about the legal system, the role of media in shaping public opinion, and the burden of proof required in a court of law. Guilty or not, one truth remains. A little girl named Caylee Anthony lost her life far too soon, and the world is still searching for answers.